Hi, I'm Olivia, and welcome to Connecting the Dots in Early Childhood Education. In today's podcast, I sit down virtually with an old colleague of mine, Alyssa. Alyssa and I first met in college. However, now she owns her own business and is a music therapist. She does amazing work every day, and I'm really excited for her to share some insight and information with you all. Okay, everyone, I'm really excited to be sitting with virtually with my friend Alyssa. And Alyssa, I would love for you to just start out by giving our listeners some information about yourself and what you do.
Sure. Hi, I'm Alyssa. I am a board certified music therapist. I own a company called Dynamic Links, and we're based out of Chicago, but we are providing telehealth and virtual services. So we're kind of based out of the whole world now, which is really cool. We predominantly serve individuals who are neurodiverse or struggling with their mental health needs. And I'm sure you heard the word music therapist and you're like, what's that? What is music therapy? So, music therapy is the evidence based use of music to facilitate skill development in non musical skills. So, music therapists look at how we can develop skills in areas of cognition, communication, sensory motor, social emotional, and we do it through music. So, instead of doing it through movement or doing it through other means that a speech therapist might, we just use music as the mode of intervention. So sometimes that does mean movement, though, in our practice. I also teach yoga, so do a little bit of it all.
Love that, love that. And I think that some of our listeners might even still be in school. So I would love for you to share with us a little bit about how did you know this is what you wanted to do? What did you major in college? That's how Alyssa and I first met, as we went to college together at the University of Miami. But I would love for you to tell listeners a little bit about kind of how you got into this.
Sure. So when I was in high school, I started volunteering for Special Olympics, and I knew I really liked working with individuals with developmental differences. And I had always done music. I had been studying voice since I was 8 years old, and we found this music program for children with autism. And my mom was like, hey, you should apply to work there. So I started working there. And my mom came to observe a couple times, and she was like, there has to be something more to what's happening here. Let me investigate. And then she found the world of music therapy. So I was about 16, 17 at this time. And she actually found the University of Miami's music therapy program. And we flew down the next weekend because that's just how my mom is, a go getter. And that's how I found the world of music therapy. University of Miami has an excellent program. We study neurologic music therapy, so it's all neuroscience based music therapy. So I knew kind of from a young age, and that's what I studied. To become a board certified music therapist, you do have to study music therapy as a bachelor's degree, or if you're getting your bachelor's in a different realm of music, you can sit for the music therapy master's equivalency program, which means it's 3 years instead of 2 years because you're filling in some of that undergrad work in tandem with a master's. So those are kind of the two tracks to become a music therapist if that's something you want to do. It's really cool. I highly suggest it.
Honestly, it's really cool. And until I started teaching, I taught self contained special ed early childhood. And until I really started doing that, I had never even really heard much about it. I knew that's what you were studying, and I had a few other friends at Miami who were studying it, but it really is such a cool thing. And I really wish more people knew about it. So that's why I'm so excited to have you chatting with me today.
Yeah.
So, is there any simple activities that you think that you could share with listeners? Some people might be educators, they might be parents. I think we're all spending a lot more time at home these days. So, do you have any quick tips or a quick activity that you'd like to share?
Sure. Well, at first, I'd love to share we have a free resource portal at Dynamic Links. So if you're looking for more things around the world of music therapy, music, and movement, you can go to Dynamic Links, links.com/resources. Completely free, just an email to sign up. Probably my favorite topic right now is social emotional learning because so many children are trapped inside. They're not connecting with their peers, and that's okay. To the parents and educators listening, I know we're all a little scared on what this means that the future holds. The world's going to adapt, but learning these skills in a new way can be really important. And social emotional learning, I think, is so pivotal for future skill development and adulthood because if we can't learn how to express, interpret, and regulate our emotions, there's so many things when we become adults that are more and more challenging, specifically in the areas of executive functioning.
Not
So
for that. I agree with you more. I think as a
yes,
teacher and as an instructional coach, I preach that all the time, but it's so, so true.
it's the baseline for everything. So I think a lot of emphasis this year, rightfully so, has kind of transitioned into the social emotional learning realm. So two of my favorite tools to use for that, one is we have a thing in music therapy called the ISO principle. So it's the idea that you're going to choose music to match the emotional state you're beginning with, and then changing that music to get to the emotional state you would like to be at. So, especially if a child is feeling angry, the default I find sometimes is for us to come in and say, take deep breaths, take time and space, which are great tools and strategies. And yes, they work. I love those tools and strategies, but sometimes matching where they are a little bit can be helpful. And music has inherent structure to do that. So if they're feeling angry or frustrated, coming in with a music that's a little more elevated, not to dysregulate them and push them further into discomfort, but just saying, I'm feeling mad and I wanna stomp around right now. Just kind of matching them where they are and giving them that space to say, yeah, this is how I feel. This is how it feels in my body. And then pulling it down from there. So we do like an ISO principle playlist making where we find some songs that work for the client to kind of match their level of discomfort, distress, or dysregulation, and then choose songs to downregulate from there. So that's a tip for parents and teachers, is something you could make for your space, for your virtual space, to use at home, sort of a playlist of, here's songs to use when I'm feeling frustrated that help me relax. Here's songs to use when I'm feeling sad or I'm feeling lonely because the pandemic is hard.
Mhm.
So just a cool, tangible thing I like to teach people because
Mhm.
it doesn't require me to necessarily intervene. And I
Yeah.
always love when there's take home things.
Yes, I think so. And I think it's a really great tip for teachers who are thinking about how can they support families when they're teaching virtually. So that's an awesome, awesome tip. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for sharing that.
Yeah, of course.
And I know that when we were chatting, you had mentioned that you have a couple projects that you're working on. And
Yes.
so I would love for you to kind of tell us more about those.
Yeah, it is busy season over here. I think everyone's starting to feel that. I have two myself projects launching. So Dynamic Links has our dynamic community launching in April. It is a monthly subscription service to receive 5 original activities, songs, facilitation guides, all around supporting neurodiverse learners, neurodiverse individuals of all ages, to teach all of those skill areas we were talking about. So across the next year, 2 years, however long a member is in the community, 10 years, hopefully,
Mhm.
they'll learn skills across social, emotional, sensory, motor, cognitive, communication, all of those domains, just through music and movement. And paired within there, there'll be a teaching topic and mini lecture talking about something specific to that area. So it's a little bit of professional development in tandem with functional tools and tips that you can use in the classroom, at home, and for other therapists. So you do not need to be a musician to be able to be part of that community. If you are, great, you can play the songs yourself. If not, you get recordings and strategies from us to implement those songs. And then my second project that's sort of separate from Dynamic Links is I'm launching my clinical supervision and parent coaching program, Alyssa Stone Co. So that is going live probably in May. Things have been a little crazy. I know we have too much going on,
It's a good
but I'll
problem
be
to have.
providing, yeah, it's good. It's all good.
Mhm.
I'll be providing clinical supervision to other music therapists or therapists who are looking to implement some of these strategies within their scope of practice. And then I'm really excited about the parent coaching side because in the world of therapy, I found parents don't always need one more commitment each week to send their child to, but they need strategies on how to support their child. And there's really not a space for that in therapy because if you're treating the child, ethically you're not supposed to treat the parent. You're not supposed to do family systems if you're doing certain other things within our practice and our scope of practice.
Right.
So I felt this strong disconnect between parents who are just looking for some help and support and some understanding of what's going on. So this is sort of a way to tap into that and help families who are really struggling from a perspective of someone who's been in the business for a long time and can do a little assessment, figure out some areas of need, give you some tangible tips and strategies to take away. And it can be in 1 to 3 meetings instead of a recurring weekly therapy session. So I'm really excited about that. It's coming along. I am taking on clients before we officially launch. So if anyone hears this and they're like, yeah, that's what I need, they can email me. I'll make sure we get our contact information in there.
Yes, I will be sure to link all of your contact information below. I think that sounds like an incredible resource. And I'm reflecting and listening to you and thinking of all of the families of the students that I was teaching and how much they would have benefited from that type of support, because they're with their children 24/7 pretty much, and
Exactly.
they need the support too.
Yeah, we're 1% of their life, 30
Literally.
minutes or an hour each week. If I can
Mhm.
help the families more, that's the goal. And we do that in our practice, but that's people who are paying us every week. And it can also get expensive, and that's not accessible for everyone.
Right.
So, giving a way that we can really support people in the terms and the budget that they can afford, I'm all about that.
Yeah, that's amazing and such a great idea. I love that. And I actually have one wild card question that I didn't
Yes,
pre-warn you about.
that's okay. I love a
Uh,
wild card.
okay, good. So, when I was coaching, when I was teaching, I was the teacher who did a lot of music, a lot of singing. I didn't play a lot of songs from, a CD. I had no shame. However, when
Good.
I was teaching, what I found was that a lot of educators are very self-conscious about how they sound singing, and so they feel a little bit afraid to incorporate music into their classrooms. So do you have
Yeah.
any tips about how to either A, get over some of that maybe embarrassed type of feelings, or B, other ways to incorporate music maybe that don't involve singing?
Yeah, absolutely. Number one, I love the no shame. Just have no shame. Kids are going to say what they're going to say, right? I'm a trained vocalist for 22 years now. There are still going to be kids who are like, I don't like your voice. And I'm like, I get paid to do this on a daily basis, but that's okay. You're a child. You have opinions, you have no filter. So, kids are going to say what they're going to say. Don't stress about them. And I would say, sing if you want to sing. Cognitively wise, it introduces a novel stimulus, so it's an easy way to gain attention in the music classroom. My other tip that I forgot to mention before that was kind of built into the ISO principle, when you put things with music and you put things in song, they stay in the brain more easily because they're able to be chunked and stored and retrieved for future use more effectively because of gestalt patterns in music. So bringing that into your classroom to teach a hand washing routine, to do the calendar check-in, I'm sure all the things that you were doing.
Yes, yes.
Yep. I made all those songs for teachers when I was in schools. They'd say, we're doing a counting coins unit. Can you make a song? Yes, I can. How to count by fives, how to count by tens. So if you have a resource that can make it for you, cool. If not, I say do it. It's going to be really prosperous and beneficial for the children in your environment's development. So know that that's one of the reasons behind you. And maybe that can give you some more encouragement if you have this novel stimulus that's able to store in the brain for a longer duration of time more effectively and retrieved more easily. Do it. So
Mhm.
that's the one side of that coin. If you are so self-conscious of your voice, and some people really are tone deaf and some people really just don't know how to use their voice either, that's okay. Do some chanting, use body percussion, use rhythm. For sensory regulation, rhythm, a steady rhythmic beat paired with like input of a chest pat, a stomp, a leg pat can be really regulating and effective for children. So pull that in. Use that to gain attention. Music isn't melody only, it's harmony, it's rhythm, it's timbre, it's tempo, it's all those good things. So you can pull in different elements. So I would say sing it, do it, but if not, chant it and play it and bring in some body percussion to your environment.
That is such a good tip. Thank you so much. You are such a wealth of information and knowledge. I'm going to make sure to get all of Alyssa's contact information, and we're going to have all of that linked in the description box below. And maybe, who knows, maybe Alyssa will come and do a future podcast with us coming.
Yeah, we could make some music. We could do a music
We
assisted
could. That's a
relaxation
great
day.
idea. So everyone stay tuned because music may be coming to the podcast very soon.
I like it. I like it. Thanks so much for having me, Olivia. I'm really glad I could be here and share this. And I hope people, if you have follow-up questions, please reach out to me. I'm happy to help.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thanks so much for watching. Isn't Alyssa amazing? To find out more, please visit our website and all of our social media accounts. The links and handles can be found at the slide at the end of the video. Be sure to check out the description box below for information about how you can learn more about Alyssa and her business. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.